Good morning, Floss Tube. It's Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is Saturday. It's the 28th, 29th. I lost a day somewhere. 29th of August, and this is Chart of the Day video number 76, I believe. Welcome. How are you? Doing well. The cool front came through. It's a little bit, well, for me, it's a little bit chilly out there today. My hands and my feet are cold, so I pulled out a long sleeve shirt today, and I'll enjoy the cooler temperatures when we're sitting outside on the deck this evening. But right now, my feet are cold. So how are you today? It's been a pretty busy week here in the shop. I hope you all had a good one. The hurricanes have passed and there's a lot of damage. My prayers are with everyone who's going through the aftermath of that. What else? I need to cover a couple of questions of the day so that we're all caught up. So let me do that. The first one was regarding sheets and whether you're a watter or a folder. There's three categories, apparently. There are those who are definitely a folder. There are those who are definitely a watter. And then there were those who I would consider watters, but who don't want to own up to being watters. So they called themselves both. A watter folder, a folder watter, who started to fold it and then gave up, which in my opinion, you're still a watter. So, but I will make a third category for those of you who try. And then the other question was the time travel question, and if you could go either spend a week in the future or a week way in the past. It seemed like most people would choose the past. A few would go forward, but most would go to the past. And it seemed to be that they wanted to meet or see again people that had passed on, so family members. That was not the intent of my question, but that's okay. My intent was to experience life that was different from what we know now. But it's okay. I understand wanting to go back and visit with those who have passed. So thank you for answering those questions. I appreciate it. I also wanted to say just a general thank you. You guys are the nicest, kindest people, and you leave the best comments, and I haven't thanked you recently, so I did want to say thank you for continuing to watch the videos, continuing to comment, and for everyone who is supporting their LNS, thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting your LNS, whether it's me or someone else. I want to say thank you for your support, because without you, we couldn't exist. So, thanks. Let's see. My weekend. I did some stitching last night. I'm not going to Zoom tonight because Abby and Reese are coming to spend the night, and I want to spend that time with them. So, we did a short Zoom last night instead. Shorter, and there weren't very many because of the late notice. But I got some stitching done. I worked on Golden Ice, which I've been working on for most of the week. And I'm making some really good progress, which is nice because the older I get, the harder that black fabric gets. And so it's probably best I try and get it done now. Not that I'm close, but I'm closer than I was. So that's what I did last night. I left Dan with some instructions on what to get done today. in preparation for having Reese there. And then we'll hang out on the deck probably this evening. And I would like to try and make some scissor fobs this weekend. And I don't have to work on Monday because my order of frames never showed up. I don't know what happened to them. So I don't have to work on Monday. So I'm going to enjoy my 2 days off. And then next weekend, which is Labor Day weekend, I will be closed on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So keep that in mind for any orders that you might place. I will get everything I can sent out before, but I will not be sending anything on Saturday or Monday. Let's see, what else? I think that's all I have for general news and information. So let's start with today's chart of the day video. I don't know about you guys, but allergies are kicking my butt. Horrible. And poor Reese. Abby's probably allergic to everything in the world. Food, anything outside, dust mites. If you can be allergic to it, Abby is. And I think poor little Reese is going to follow in her footsteps. She was telling me that Travis went out and walked the beans the other night. And when he came back, he hadn't showered or anything. But he was holding Reese on his lap, and she broke out in hives everywhere from the dust and stuff on him. So poor little girl, I think she's going to be just like her mom, which is not necessarily, Abby's a lovely person, don't get me wrong, but I wish she hadn't inherited that particular aspect. Fingers crossed she doesn't get the asthma. So, okay, today's chart of the day is one that really hasn't sold well here in the shop. I think it's a cute design. I think part of the reason it hasn't sold is because of the finishing aspect of it. You're supposed to finish it on, hang on, let me grab one. Supposed to be finished on one of these little oval boxes. They're not very big. But it's called To Quote Shakespeare, which, just FYI, not a fan of Shakespeare. But that's the name of it. But if we leave Shakespeare out of it, it's a very cute design. And it's about stitching or sewing. So if you look over here, let me see if I can, it's like an embroidery hoop with a little piece of stitching in it. There's a pair of scissors over here. I wish I could show you the whole design, but she doesn't show the whole thing on the back like Paulette from Plum Street does. So you can't see the whole design, but there is a design that goes all the way around. And each of the little designs would make a great little pin cushion or needle book, so you could do a lot of different things with this. But it hasn't ever sold well here, so I thought maybe I'd feature it and spark some interest. Now, the dress color is Licorice Red from Classic Colorworks, which I am out of. So I had to do a little personalization, shall we say, on the colors. There's a couple colors I didn't care for what they looked like together, and there was the green, which is the stems and leaves and stuff. It calls for Classic Colorworks avocado, and I am not a big fan of avocado. I like my greens to be greener, so I've tweaked that a little bit. So my version is going to look a little bit different, is what I'm going to say. I went more on the picture and what the picture looks like. because this is much more red than what the licorice red that I've had in recent months looks like. And I like that. So I just kind of chose based on this picture and then tweaked what I wanted to tweak. So my colors, and I simplified. Okay, I should say that too. These flowers here are actually, this is one color, and then this middle part is another color. And I can't visually, I don't see any difference. So I kind of simplified that a little bit, and I'm just going to do all the same color. So that being said, here are my choices for colors, which most of them are the same. Trying to get them so you can see them all spread out. Comments from the other day. There are a couple of you that enjoyed my crap ton comment when I was talking about how many colors were in the chart, and I used crap ton. And I have to be honest, if you were standing in front of me and we were, you know, best buddies, it probably would not have been crap. It probably would have been the SH word, but I try not to do that in my videos. But I grew up with my mother, who shit and damn were her, I mean, Abby's first words, her first sentence was, "Damn it, I told you I didn't want any more," which came directly from my mother. But I try and keep it clean, so I said crap ton. I do use crap ton, especially when the little kids are around here, but if it was just between you, me, and the fence post, it'd probably be the other word. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay, so there are my color choices. Like I said, most of them are the same, except I chose pine needle instead of avocado because I like a green to be green and not. Avocado looks like this, and to me it kind of looks like dying leaves. You know, something that needs iron in its system. So I prefer a greener green. And then, like I said, the dress color was supposed to be licorice red, and then the colors for those flowers on either side. So this flower here is supposed to be licorice red, and then the colors for the two sides were supposed to be rhubarb, which is very pink, and geranium. That's not what it looks like there. So I chose to use geranium for the dress, and I'm going to make those side flowers the raspberry parfait, because I like how those two colors go, and I just think it'll look better. So if you can imagine that in your little head, that's what that will look like. Also, it calls for grits, which right now you can't get grits, or Oscar, they're behind. They'll catch up, but right now, because of the coming to America, they're a little backed up on those colors. So I just went with bamboo. So you might want to jot that down if you're interested in this. I will make a note for myself, so if you don't remember, I'll have a note if I can locate the note. So we'll see. If I can, I'll try and put it also in the little comment thing box below, but I very rarely remember to do that, to be quite honest with you. So anyway, that's what I can tell you about that. It's not very big. It calls for 36 count, I believe. No, 40 count Examplar. And I think the finish size comes out to something like Gosh, I figured it out yesterday. I was going to do this yesterday, but the phone kept ringing, and I kept getting interrupted, and I finally just gave up. The size ends up being something like 3 inches by 6 inches, so it's not very large on 40 count. But again, you can do that on any count that you want, and it'll just make it a little bigger. And I was looking at this piece, and I had kind of an idea of a finish that I thought I might, but I can see it mounted on a board. Wouldn't have to be in a frame. I can see it mounted on a board. And then maybe with a little pair of scissors hanging, you know, little charm scissors hanging off of it. Maybe a little, they make little miniature hoops and I haven't thought of a third thing yet, but kind of have this idea in my head to finish it a little bit differently than on that box, because quite frankly, it's probably not hard to finish this, but it intimidates me, so I probably wouldn't finish it this way, is what I'm saying. The chart sells for $12, and the stitch count is 228 by 54. So it's long, or longer, but it's not very tall. Maybe it's longer than 6. According to this, it's like 11 3/8 by 2 5/8, so about 3 by 11 and a half ish. Okay. So those are the colors. This is a piece of, it's my very last little tiny piece of Examplar 40 count that I have, and that is what the floss would look like on that, which is pretty. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Looks good. But we always have to give options. I did have a lady who asked me if I could show more Aida options. I don't actually sell a whole lot of Aida, so I don't have as much to choose from in Aida. I put my money more towards where things that will sell, but I will try and do better on that, just so you know. But I don't have near the options on Aida. This is just raw natural, and I love the colors on that. I know some people don't, like Lori that helps out with the shipping. She does not like raw natural. I personally love raw natural. So I like it on there. If I was using the avocado, this would not be a color I would use, but I'm not using the avocado because I don't like the avocado. So this is a color, and it's weird because it's called Sand. It's by, I think, Fiber on a Whim, and it's green. It may not look green on the screen, but it is a pale green. It is not what I would call sand. But I love the colors on there also. So if you like green like I do, this would be an excellent option for you. And last, certainly not least, is Tiramisu, which I showed the other day. This is again a 40 count. It's slightly pink, neutral, and it would look really pretty with those colors. So I think that would be pretty. So that's your chart of the day today. I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, it's not one that has sold well in the shop, and I think it's because probably the finishing, but there are other ways to finish it. You could frame it, you could mount it on a board. You can make a pillow out of it. Pillows are easy. So there are different things you could do other than putting it on that box. It also does have, where's my picture? Does have this little verse that goes with it, which is, "And in a tedious sampler sowed her mind." Again, William Shakespeare. I'm like, what? If you like William Shakespeare, that's fine. I'm just saying, not my cup of tea. So I probably wouldn't stitch that part of it. And I think it's done over one, too, also. I think it's, but I don't think there's any over one in the actual, this piece. It's all over two. So everyone should be able to stitch that would like to do so. Today's question of the day has to do with, there's so many disasters going on right now. So if you, here's a scenario. You can choose whatever disaster you want. A fire, a flood, a hurricane. But if you could, assuming that you have all of your photographs and all of your personal papers that you need, all of that stuff, you know, the animals are out, the kids are all out, you've got all of that out, but you can go back one more time for one thing and one thing only. This is going to be tough. Which one of your finished cross-stitch pieces would you take with you? Now, I asked Dan this morning. I asked Dan which one he would save of mine. And he said, well, I wouldn't. He said, I'd go grab my farm scene off the wall and I'd save that, which is his. And I said, no. Let's assume that you've got that out already. Which I'm thinking to myself, gee, thanks, hon. Nice of you to think of me. He said, well, that's a hard one because you've got several good ones. He was thinking either Fire and Ice, which is a horse, or my parrot. And those were very good choices. I was thinking, I mean, I have mirrors at home. I've got Fire and Ice. I have a beautiful purple iris picture that's in my hallway. I have, you know, the little aviator and the tea party set that was in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts years and years ago. So I've got some really nice pieces at home. And it was hard to choose just one of them. But in the end, for me, the one I probably would grab would be my parrot. So I brought it to show you. I know some of you have seen it, some of you have not. This came from a magazine. I can't remember what magazine it was. I think it was a Just Cross Stitch issue, but I don't know which one, unless it's on the back, because it went to, no, I don't see it. This went to the state fair. It didn't do real well. It did okay. It got second place, but it went to the state fair. And like I said, it's a by Marie Barber. She's one of my favorite designers. I just love the colors in this, and I think that's why it's one of my favorites, is because of the colors. This is a frame with a fillet on the inside. I wanted something that looked kind of old, because this looks like an old tapestry to me. So this would be the piece that I would save over everything else. Hang on just a second. I can give you the name of it in case anyone is interested in finding that issue. It was called Old World Floral. I've stitched that on 40 count Garden State Java linen from R&R, which I don't think they make anymore or dye anymore. But anyway, I thought I would share that with you as the one piece that I would save. So, and it was a hard choice too. But you got to put your mind in the, okay, you've only got a minute, so what are you going to choose kind of way of thinking in order to figure it out. So I'm curious as to what piece you would save. Maybe, I don't know, probably a lot of you are on Instagram. Maybe I should have you post a picture. That would be kind of fun for the weekend. This is just coming off the top of my head. But maybe I should have you post a picture, but we'd need a hashtag. If I think of a hashtag, I'll put it in the box below, and maybe y'all could take a picture of your piece that you would save so we can all see it. That would be fun. So if you put that hashtag in, and then I don't really know how Instagram works really well. If one of you knows more than I do about how we could kind of keep them together other than the hashtag, I think the hashtag will work though. Okay, I'll try and come up with some hashtag, and at least we can all use that, and maybe they'll be all together. So anyway, that would be great. That would be fun. Please do that. Please. Okay, I had a funny story I wanted to tell you, and I did get permission from my friend before I shared it with you. I have a friend who's temporarily living down in Louisiana. Her husband is on a job site down there, and so they live in an RV in not too far from Lake Charles, which was kind of where the hurricane came in, and so they had to take the RV and go to get out of the path of the hurricane. And we were texting back and forth with each other about where she was headed, and I was a little concerned that she wasn't going far enough to be safe. And I told her I was worried, and she told me not to worry, that it was that where they were, it was a very nice RV park, and it was predicted to only have like 40-mile-an-hour winds and some rain, and that in her words, the Love House, LUV, Love House, was going to be open all night, and they could go there if they needed to. Now, my first thought, and this is where the funny part comes in, knowing my friend and her husband, and knowing that they have a very good relationship, to put it as mildly as I possibly can, my first thought in my head was, oh, I did not realize we were referring to the RV as the Love House. As it would be appropriate for them. I'm just saying, it would be appropriate. And about the time I was typing in, that sentence, oh, I didn't know that's how what we were calling the RV these days, she corrected herself and said clubhouse. The clubhouse would be open all evening or all night, and they could go over there if they needed to. But Love House actually fits it much better. And anyway, I thought it was hilarious, and I've been teasing her about it ever since. The Love House made it through the hurricane okay. They don't know when they'll be able to go back down to where they normally are, because there's a lot of damage that has to be cleaned up before they can. But she's fine, her husband's fine, and the Love House is fine. So that's a good thing. Other than that, I don't have anything else. So I think I'll let you go, get this uploaded before the shop opens so that it doesn't get delayed any. And I'm thinking maybe Dan and I might do a video this weekend if we can. He stitched a little bit last night, so he won't have much to show you, but we might do that if we can. So you guys have a great weekend. Get some stitching done. Be safe, and I will see you the next time. So take care. Bye.